Show with naked truths and well-dressed lies. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a TV presenter whose nickname at school was Little Winkle. So was mine, but for very different reasons. It's Claudia Winkleman. And arguably the funniest man in Wales. Well, I would argue it's Rob Gilbert. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, she's an actress best known for appearing in EastEnders and Doctor Who. Bizarre humanoids acting like no earthling ever would. EastEnders is regularly watched by over 10 million viewers. Tracy Ann Overman. And he's the star of Made in Chelsea and heir to the McVitie's biscuit fortune. Yes, blonde hair and ginger nuts. It's Jamie Lang. So we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. And it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. And we're starting tonight with Claudia. OK, good. When I meet someone for the very first time, I automatically make a mental note of what animal I think they are. Once it's in, I never forget it. Lee's team.
Do I raise my... I don't raise my hand, do I?
Do you need to get to the toilet?
Jamie, just to be clear, you may be dressed like a 7-year-old, but you don't have to behave like that.
So, we met for the first time.
Yes.
What animal did you choose me to be?
Ferret.
A ferret?
Ferret.
Why a ferret?
Well, small, friendly, could pet, not in a weird way. Immediately, ferret.
And will you always see him as a ferret now? Was
That's
that how
it.
That's it.
Finished. I mean, you might have another name, well done, but in my mind, ferret.
Can you do all of us with that system?
Of course, beaver.
Talk to you or me? Which one?
You.
I'm the beaver. No,
Why am I a beaver?
You're a cat.
I'd love to be
No,
a
you're
cat.
a cat.
Oh, I'm so
You're
glad.
a cat.
Sorry,
Quite a fancy
whoa,
cat.
beaver?
Yes.
Why beaver?
It's just automatic. I mean, I've got...
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Beavers have got big teeth and they're a bit smelly looking.
And your point is, no, you're total beaver. Common cuckoo, this one.
What?
A common cuckoo.
Why a cuckoo?
Normally, I don't think about it. Common cuckoo, owl, puppy. End of.
What breed? You can't just say puppy, that would be a breed.
All right, if I'm pushed, red setter.
Yes.
Happy with that?
Well, I think I'm the only one who isn't happy. I'm a
love
cuckoo.
it.
Whoa, I'm not happy with the beaver.
I'm pleased with owl,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm happy with that.
I would love owl. I would have loved owl.
You're nowhere close to an owl.
So, Claudia. I'll say Claudia, I mean meerkat. You have to have a bit of meerkat about you, haven't you?
OK.
Yeah.
If I was going to do it to myself, camel.
Camel? Why camel?
I'm pure camel. I'm 100% camel. Maybe 3% mouse.
3% mouse, 97% camel.
There you
That was
go.
a hell of a mum and dad relationship. You wouldn't like to be the mouse in that relationship, would you? Why do you do it, though? Does it help you remember the person's name or something?
I've just done it forever. I think we might have started when we were young, and we had a teacher who was a little bit human, but mainly cow.
Well, she's certainly given an encyclopedic
She
response.
has done very well. In fact, I would say it's instant with you. I can tell it's
Done.
It's gutter, isn't it?
Name anybody.
So, without pausing or hesitating, tell us all again what we are.
OK, easy. Cat, beaver, ferret, common cuckoo, owl, baby red setter. I just do it. I can't help it.
So what are you thinking, Lee?
So, do you think it's true?
Yeah, I think it's true.
Genuinely, I think it's not true, but there's one bit in it that makes it feel true. The word Claudia.
You saying it's true?
It's true.
OK, Claudia, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Claudia doesn't think of an animal every time she meets someone. Jamie, you're next.
Oh. I once set a sauna on fire.
What? How?
I was in Brazil.
Of course.
And I was in the sauna and I decided to pour vodka
Oh, my God.
on the rocks of the sauna.
Because you thought that's what vodka on the rocks was.
Yeah. No, I tell you how it started was my friend told me I was in Cornwall of all places, and my friend said.
Can I jump in here and
Yeah.
say, did your parents know you were drinking?
I wasn't a minor. I was 18 and a half.
Isn't 18 and a half 18 once you get to be an adult? Is
Well,
that-
no.
So true. Who says 18 and a half?
You're in Cornwall.
I was in Cornwall, and my friend said to me, if you go and lie in the bath and pour vodka in it, like a shot of vodka...
In the bath?
In the bath, it gets you drunk. I didn't go and do it, but then I
shot
was
of
told...
vodka in a bath?
Because of the fumes, it gets you drunk. So I was in Brazil travelling, and my friend had a sauna in their apartment. So I was left alone, and so I...
I've heard about these Brazilian slums.
So you're left alone in this flat
I was
and
left
with
alone.
a bottle of vodka, and you thought, if only there was some way I could use this bottle of vodka to make me become drunk.
Where were you in Brazil?
I was in Rio.
Ah, that is in Brazil. Yep, tick.
Continue.
In Rio. I was in a foreign country, I was young, I was experimenting, so I thought one experiment with...
Why did you look at me when you said you were experimenting?
I decided to take the bottle of vodka into my sauna and pour it onto the rocks. As I poured it onto the rocks, it went into flames and it burnt the sauna.
So you poured it onto the rocks, and immediately what happened?
So I poured it onto the rocks and started to flame. So
Just
I-
one shot of it, or the whole bottle?
The half a bottle. So
Half a
I
bottle of vodka.
Yeah, no, it's...
At 18 and a half, you change the rules. So, and so the fire engines turned up and we
No, hang on. We've missed a beat here. You're in the sauna. You've poured half a bottle of vodka onto the rock things. Flames are appearing.
Yes.
You're sitting there. What are you wearing?
well, I was going to go.
They've told me to make the show sexier.
I was going to go in naked because I thought that's what you do, but I actually put on my swimming trunks. So I wore swimming trunks in there. But the one
How
which
low
I-
down your leg did they go?
Mine are slight. They're
Give me
not
some
too
inches
long.
above the knee.
I would say about 7 inches.
Above the knee?
Above the knee.
If you go 7 inches above my knee, you get to my waist.
Nice.
So you're sitting in there,
Yeah.
in your trunks on the slats, and the flames have started. What do you
No,
do?
I thought the best option was to pick them up and throw them.
The rocks?
Yeah, because I thought that. Yeah.
It must be boiling
Oh, my
up.
Well, that's
God.
what I found out. Obviously.
You found out? You must have suspected they were hot, because you knew they were producing the heat, surely.
But you were in that panic.
No, not even in the panic, do I go, I'll
Bear
throw
in
the
mind,
rocks.
bear in mind, he was 18 and a half.
So I try and pick up the rocks to throw them out the door and realise they were...
Out of the door?
Yeah, well, because there's a... What else is there not?
Because you really wanted at this point to spread the fire through the rest of the apartment.
What's on the other side of the door? The hall, the living room? What?
A lovely balcony.
I know you can...
So you want to throw on the passers-by outside?
Nothing says Rio like a falling, flaming vodka rock.
My thought process was to pick up the rocks, throw them out the door, and it would have been fine. However, they picked up the rocks, they were too hot, so they fell on the ground, and the fire went. And I
How
thought...
can you not know that the rocks are... Are you so posh?
I told
Are you
you.
so posh you don't understand the concept of coal?
Have you ever cooked something and you've gone, oh, this one, you'd open up the oven and gone to take it out with your hands?
No.
Okay.
So, David, what is your team thinking about this?
Claudia?
I think it's true. Apartment, balcony, he's waiting for everyone to go, trunks on, vodka there. Finally, everything comes into place.
There we go.
Yeah.
Finally, a chance to put my trunks
all
on.
makes
Everyone's out.
What do you think?
I'm on your side. Doesn't matter what I
Interested to know.
So what are you going to say, then?
I think we'll say
I think
true.
true.
OK, Jamie, were you telling the truth, or was it a lie?
It was true.
Yes, it's true. Jamie did set a sauna on fire. Right, Rod, you're next.
Okay. A mistake I made in France meant someone in England got hospitalised.
Please, team.
Have you just learned to read?
Was the mistake you made in the French language?
It's a simple question, Rod. Was it in the French?
Was it in the language of
Right.
the
It's
It's a
French?
simple question with a simple answer.
Right.
Yes, it was.
Can you tell us
Oui.
the mistake you made, please?
The mistake I made got somebody hospitalised. That was the...
I didn't say no. That's not worthy of the fact. What was the mistake?
What was the mistake?
Say.
Lee, I'll take it from here. What was the nature of this mistake?
It was a language thing. It was a French-English mix-up. It was a mix-up, a terrible mix-up,
What
language
were you
mix-up.
doing
terrible.
in France?
I was on the phone. I was in France. I was working in France, and I was on the phone.
Working in France.
I was on the phone to England, and I made a mistake with my French-English translation.
Who received the mistake?
A girl. A girl.
What was her name?
Anne.
What colour hair does she have?
I don't know. She was on the phone.
So you never met her?
I never met her.
So can you talk us through the incident?
I was asked by someone in France. They said, "Can you talk to somebody in England?"
Why did they ask you to do that?
Because they didn't speak English.
Right. What was the relationship between Anne and the person that had asked you to talk?
Oh, that was Anne's father said, "Can you speak to Anne? She's in England, and we're in France. And ask her what's wrong with her."
How did you know him? What was
How
the
did you know him?
relationship?
There's a new angle.
Oh, I knew him. Oh, you should have asked. I knew him because I worked in France. I was in a school. I worked in a school. He was the caretaker.
What were you doing in school?
I was teaching English.
Now, his daughter, she's French.
Yes.
She's living in England.
Yeah.
Now.
No, she wasn't living. She was on a very short exchange thing.
Right. Now, in the words of Question of Sport, what happened next?
He came to me and said, "Can you talk to my daughter, Anne? She's ill. She's in England. She couldn't speak to the family she was with. That's the problem. That's the problem.
So she didn't know how to speak to the family.
She couldn't speak to the family because
How
the
is
family
you
was English.
speaking to her going to help that?
Right, here's the situation. Anne could talk to her dad and tell her what was wrong with her in French, but he couldn't say that to the family because they didn't speak French and he didn't speak English. So he came to me, who spoke both languages. I went to her, I spoke to her in French, then I passed it on to the family in English. What's wrong with them? I passed that on to him in English, then I passed it back to him in French. Everyone's happy.
Now,
except
let me-
she got...
You said that you made a mistake that caused this person to be hospitalised.
That's right, I did, yeah.
What did you do wrong? What did you say wrong?
Yeah.
I said, qu'est-ce qui se passe, qu'est-ce qui se passe, qu'est-ce qui se passe, all that, you know, as you do. And she said, j'ai une angine, j'ai une angine.
Was she stuck in the bell tower? I know what's wrong with her. Is it something to do with her back?
J'ai une angine.
And what is that? What does that mean?
Well, I said, I got the English family on the phone and I said, "Hey, she's got an angina. She got angina."
And that's a mistake, right?
Well, angina, I found out later, is a serious heart condition, so
Right.
she was hospitalised.
But what was wrong with her?
Angine is a sore throat. I didn't know that at the time.
And what happened? Did they then rush her to this hospital?
They called 999 and got her into hospital, yeah.
Nuff.
OK, so Lee, what are you thinking? Could it be true?
I don't think Anne is a French name. That's the one bit in it that I don't believe.
Anne-Marie?
Is she?
Don't know.
What an absolutely amazing answer.
That's one of the funniest things anybody's ever said.
I believe it to be true.
You believe it to be true? OK.
It was so torturous getting that story out that it has to be the truth.
Yeah.
Lee, you think so too?
It could not be any truer.
Rod, truth or lie?
Of course, it is true.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Tony. Right, let's start with you, Claudia. What is Tony to you?
This is Tony. He's my builder. He drove for over an hour to come to my house to fix my TV, and it turned out all I needed to do was change the batteries in the remote control.
Rod, how do you know Tony?
This is Tony, and we played in a band together. Where we both played guitar, except only his was plugged in, because I can't play a note.
David, what is your relationship with Tony?
This is Tony, and I regularly go round to his house to play with his Lego.
So, there we have it. Claudia's helpful handyman, Rod's musical mate, or David's play pal. Lee's team, where would you like to begin?
OK, let's start with Claudia. How do you know him?
He built my house.
Out of Lego? Is it a combined story?
What happened is my telly didn't work, and so I thought...
I got it. Did he put the television in the house?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he built this from scratch, as in it was foundations up?
Well, no, but he did the other stuff.
What other stuff?
You know... No, the painting. Tell me.
I think
You know, the other stuff.
The painting.
The television wasn't working. You
Correct.
thought, I'll call my builder.
That's what happened.
Why did you think the builder is responsible for the television?
I thought he would know about things falling off. I've got an unstable roof.
You've got an unstable mind.
Why are you clapping? The telly didn't work. The little puffin baby, what's his... Yeah. He wanted to watch
what
the
do you mean,
telly.
little puffin
What is a
baby?
puffin?
Stop talking to me.
I thought you said that you wanted to watch the telly.
I did.
But then what
The
is
family.
Puffin doing?
I only want to watch what he wants
Who
to
in
watch.
the love of God is the puffin? I can't work out whose mind is the worst, Claudia's or yours. She said, I wanted to help out the little puffin, and instead of going, what's the puffin going to do with it, you went, well, hang on, who wanted to watch the telly, you or the puffin? Doesn't matter where wants to watch the telly. What's the puffin doing there? It's the next question.
Anyway, and Tony went, no problem, because...
Tell us what the puffin was doing in the house, and I'm not moving on.
No, that's not his real name. He's called Arthur, but...
Who's Arthur?
Your child!
Your son! That's all I wanted! Did you go to the Rod Gilbert School of Explanation?
Let's move this on. OK, then he arrives, and he gets to the house.
Yeah.
He comes in, and what happens?
And I say something must have fallen off the roof, Tony.
Meaning the aerial or the dish.
But didn't you see that little red light in the bottom right-hand corner that wasn't green?
Interesting.
Did he fix it straight away, or did he not have the tools? Watch his face.
No.
Did he have to nip to see his mate Kevin, who's got the right tools, who lives 4 days away?
He just got the remote. It was like magic.
OK.
And he flicked this thing.
This is the killer,
This
this is the killer question that will decide whether she's telling the truth. Did he charge you?
No.
He's not a builder.
Well, there we are. Now, who would you like to question next?
OK, so Rod. Sorry, remind us of your fact.
I can't even remember his name.
It's Tony.
I know what it is. I'm bluffing.
It's a bluff, it's a bluff.
I'm bluffing.
Right.
This is Tony. We played in a band together. We
yes.
both played guitar, but only his was plugged in because I can't play.
So you can't play?
What was the band called?
It was a long time. Muck Spreader.
And where did you get the name from?
2 of the band were like farmers. It's rural West Wales.
Why were you part of the band then? If you couldn't play and you weren't singing?
Because Tony was the lead singer and guitarist, and as you see him now, that's the kind of charisma he brought to the stage.
Why were you in the band? Why were you in the band?
That's what I'm coming to. That's what
You
I'm
were
saying.
there for charisma.
No, Tony was... this is what he was like as a lead frontman.
Surely he didn't put his arms behind his back when he was playing the guitar.
No, he had a guitar. He had a guitar in front of him.
Yeah.
But in all other ways, that is exactly what
Dressed
he
in a
was
suit.
like.
Right.
And he was that dull and uncharismatic at the front of the... So boring was he at the
That is
front.
not... we're not doubting that. What we're doubting is the fact that he thought you could help that situation.
They saw me dancing kind of on the dance floor in a barn dance thing, and they thought, we need a front man, because ours is so dull.
So you were like the Bez.
The Bez.
I was exactly like the Bez, but with a guitar.
And what kind... Well, I was going to say, what kind of music did you play? But you didn't. What kind of music didn't you play?
Well, the band was a sort of punky, rocky sort
Can
of...
you...
Punky Rocky, is that how you introduced it? Johnny Rotten. And now we're going to do some punky Rocky music.
Can you do a...
By the Buck Spreaders.
Can you...
I am the Antichrist. I'm not. I'm a farmer. By the Buck Spreaders.
All our songs had the word muck in the title.
Like what?
Like, hey, hey, we're the Muck Spreaders. Muckadoo about nothing.
You did Shakespeare plays as well. Oh, I see now it's all making sense.
Don't
Well, now that's a performer piece from Shakespeare. But he won't be speaking, he's not plugged in, he'll mind me.
So, what about David?
OK, David, this is Tony and you go around to his house to play Lego, is that what you're saying?
Play with his
Why would you
Lego.
play Lego at Tony's house?
He's got a lot of Lego.
No,
Can I say at this, at this
the
point,
question
with
is-
all this mention of Lego, with
Yeah.
us being the BBC, there are other children's building blocks
Yeah.
available. They're not as good, but there are others. Sorry, carry
Yes,
on.
absolutely.
How often do you go around to his house and play with Lego?
I suppose it must be once every 2 or 3 weeks.
How long is a session?
Oh, 2 or 3 hours.
And do you freeform, or have you got a kit that you follow the instructions?
We're building a castle,
Are you?
a model
What?
of a castle.
So this
yeah.
castle, is it an exact replica of your house, or is it...
No, it's supposed to look like the Tower of London.
So how big is it going to end up being? It's obviously big, isn't it?
When it's finished, I think it'll be, I would say, roughly the size of one of these circles here.
Wow, and how long's that going to
As
take?
big as that?
Yeah. It's going to be. It's big.
Do you have different sections that you work on, or do you work on the same section at the same
Well,
time?
what we've largely done is completed the White Tower,
And
now we're trying to work out the footprint, if you see what I mean, of the curtain wall.
Quick question. Are you still married?
Yes, I am.
How do you know him?
I know him because I made a documentary, and I met him doing that.
What was the documentary called?
The documentary was called The Pursuit of Youth. It was about people who are into, childish things
activity.
as adults.
And they got you to host that?
Yes.
When you approached this sort of Lego building, did everyone believe you? So you told your wife, you said, I'm going to go and build Lego at Tony's house, and everything was fine, and that was all...
She seemed to believe me.
Has Tony got a wife?
I can answer that.
Yes, Tony does have a wife.
What is the name of the person who started Lego?
I don't know.
Nor do I, so...
So, Lee's team, is Tony Claudia's helpful handyman, Rod's musical mate, or David's play pal?
Well, David's played this game long enough to know that if he was to put in the phrase, I was making a telly show, that would be a risk. Are you following his career? I'm not. Anybody here following David's career? Anybody?
I feel like I saw the trailer for it.
Don't say that even as
I
it's
feel like I saw the trailer.
That was trailers!
David...
This week on Pursuit of Youth. How's your wife, Tony? Join us next week on Pursuit of Youth.
Now, what about Claudia?
I think you're wise, you're clever. You would have thought this through, I feel.
You
would have
think
checked...
Claudia is wise and clever?
Wise and clever, the two...
Have you ever seen her on the television? Or met her?
No, but I think you have good initiative. You have very good initiative.
So who do you think it is, Jamie, if you don't think it's Claudia?
I mean, I do think it's Claudia, maybe. I don't know. Because now it's just changed.
You now think it's Claudia?
I think it's Claudia.
I think it's Rod.
Oh.
You're wrong.
Oh, well, in that case...
No, you could be right. I'm going with you.
No, you change your mind. He's already done
I'm
this.
easily susceptible. I want it to be David.
I want
think
it to
it's
be
Claudia.
David.
I'm going with Rod.
What's it going to be? We need a...
She's in the documentary. David.
David,
You'd
all
better
right.
have seen this
Tony,
documentary.
would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Tony, and I drove to Claudia's to fetch her.
Yes, Tony is Claudia's helpful handyman. Thank you very much, Tony. Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies, and we start with... It's Rod.
I can't wear normal gloves because I have an unusual hand.
Lee.
Which of the two hands is unusual?
That one.
Would you hold up your unusual hand?
I'll show you some of it.
I quite an unusual hand.
Is it all gloves, or is it just certain gloves?
Do you mean those really odd gloves with the thumb and the four fingers?
No, because there are mittens.
Yes.
And they're called mittens.
Yeah, that's still a glove.
No, it's not.
It is. A mitten's a glove.
No, it's not.
It is.
Admit it, a mitten is not a glove.
Can I just say, you're both saying like two people who aren't quite sure of the real answer.
You're absolutely right. I'm
Both
doubting
saying it
myself.
with conviction, but neither of you know the truth.
This might help you. I could wear mittens, but I can't wear gloves.
Ah,
You've got webbed hands.
Have you got webbed hands? Have you got webbed fingers?
Yes, I got webbed fingers.
Is this why you couldn't play the guitar in Muck Spreader?
I could draw a... Well, I haven't got a pen and paper, so I can't. So there we go.
OK.
Is it
I
all
have pen and
gloves?
paper. Pen and
Oh, you
paper.
would have pen and paper, wouldn't you?
Are you going to draw around your hand?
Yeah.
And not let us see?
Draw around your
Yeah,
hand, but don't... I'll come to you. It's all right. I've got to even it out. Have a seat, sir. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Right, draw it. Go on. Draw it.
Draw it.
Do it. Draw it.
Draw around it, yeah?
Draw around it.
Rob, you're to witness it, yeah?
Well, I'm going to witness it. All right, OK. He's drawing round his fingers. Good God. Let me take it. Thank you, Rod. That must have been very traumatic for you.
It certainly was.
This is what Rod claims is the outline of his hand.
Oh, so only one web on one hand.
I've known you for 15 years. You'd have noticed if I had a complete flipper.
So, what are you going to say, Lee? Is this the truth?
What do we think?
What do you think?
I'm in the worst position now because I've known him so long. I can't think I would have known this.
I weirdly think it's the truth.
Why?
Well, I feel like it was a very good drawing.
You think that
I like it.
Do you not think if you didn't have one webbed finger that you couldn't have improvised that?
No, because if you... I was assuming it was going to be fake and they were all going to be webbed, but one being webbed is very...
I think that's his attempt at 5 web problems and he's rubbish at drawing.
OK, what's it going to be, Lee? It's time to decide.
No, I got it wrong on the trailer. Don't ask me anything.
OK. So you don't know?
It's a lie.
You think it's a
It's
lie?
a lie.
I got David wrong, so I think we should ignore me.
Just, you do it.
Ignore me.
So your advice is I'm not sure, I don't know, maybe a lie, and
Ignore me.
I've really got the winning team this week, haven't I?
So what's it going to be?
Let's go for lie.
Lie?
Lie.
It's got to be a lie.
Saying it's a lie. Rod, was it the
done.
truth or was it a lie? And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that David's team have won by 4 points to 1. Thank you for watching. Good night.